Now I get to do this full time. And I say get to rather than have to, right? With a job, we have to go to work. We have to do whatever we're being told to do. I like to use the phrase, I get to, and I get to serve women and I get to make impact. So, and it's far beyond just a transactional business for me. It is about building relationships, which is why I love the Royal Oak Chamber.
Welcome back into the ROCC Pod, produced for the Royal Oak, Michigan Chamber of Commerce. I am John Gay from Jag and Detroit Podcast.
I am Lisa Bibby, your neighborhood realtor with Keller Williams Advantage.
And today we welcome Deborah Johnson of Mary Kay. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you so much. I'm honored, privileged, excited to be here. Thank you.
Okay, so first question. I'm sure most of our listeners are familiar with Mary Kay, and most of us have seen the pink Cadillacs and all that. But for any of our listeners who are not familiar with Mary Kay, give us a quick overview.
Absolutely. I'd love to do that, John. So Mary Kay, 60 years has been around, and this was created by a woman for women back in the 1960s. So she really had a mission in mind to give women an opportunity to kind of break the glass ceiling. And if you knew anybody in the 60s, or if you're from the 60s, you understand what I'm talking about. And so she really created quite a phenomenal business model. And she did this after she was in direct sales for 60 years. But we are now number one in the world for our skincare and cosmetics. And skincare is really our thing. So I like to say to women, you don't have to be like lipstick, eye makeup, all that good stuff. How do you take care of your skin? It's almost like self-care. And when COVID hit, that's when I really realized that's the meat and potatoes of what Mary Kay is, right? It's all about taking good care of ourselves. And I love the way it enriches people when, you take great care of yourself and your skin, and then you look and feel good. When we look and feel good, we do better, right?
So, Deborah, you've been a part of Mary Kay for over 30 years, correct?
That is correct. Yep.
Wow. So how have you seen Mary Kay change over the last 30 years? Like tech, like have they, do they have apps for it? What kind of changes have you seen?
Yeah, so you hit it, Lisa. It really is the technology, because the business model has stayed solid. It is family owned and family run. So what Mary Kay desired as far as how the business runs, it pretty much is the same model, but we have the most exciting apps you can log in. Like I send to women all the time, and it's called an analyzer app. So you analyze your skin. You just take some pictures of yourself and you can see the areas, and it'll point out exactly to a woman. So I don't have to sell really. I think what I love about it, I don't have to be a salesperson, and I never have. So there's a skin analyzer app. There's a Color Me where, like, similar to hairstyles, but you can say, okay, let me try that red lipstick. And it's a mirror thing. It's called Mirror Me, actually. And you can do that. And then from the business side, I love it because I can log in and I can see all kinds of activity reports. It's all about numbers. I mean, it is truly a business, right? It isn't just a transactional, let me sell a tube of lipstick. But yeah, the technology, and then COVID, of course, really changed things for many. But with us, it was always only a one-on-one, face-to-face, knee-to-knee, however you want to call it, right? And now we can do virtual, we can do, QVC style even. And we have 100% money back guarantee, so you can't lose.
Deborah, you kind of alluded to this and wanted to ask you about this. We spoke in person at a Royal Oak Chamber happy hour a couple of weeks ago toward the end of May, prior to us recording this. And your passion for this brand and this business really shines through. I can tell how much you really care and believe in the mission. You had mentioned to me that you've recently changed your role, kind of going from more personal use to sort of the business owner side of things. Can you talk about that transition and what you did, what you're doing now, and what that looked like?
I would love to do that, John. Thanks. So let me start with the passion part, because as far as back as I can remember, I've always had this desire to do something for women. I've always been one of those, rah-rah women. And so when I first was connected to Mary Kay, it fit, right? Because I'm like, oh, I like this. I can help women. I can serve women. I can make them feel great. So yes, I was a personal use consultant because I had a job, right? And I really wasn't ready to do anything different. I had 3 young kids at home and was just, living life that way. So yeah, I was personal use for really the 30 years that we speak about. And then I knew, because I kind of wrote my own succession plan in my vice president corporate position with healthcare. So I knew that moment was coming. And so when it happened last February, I was ready to pivot. I had built up my inventory, and now I get to do this full time. And I say get to rather than have to, right? With a job, we have to go to work. We have to do whatever we're being told to do. I like to use the phrase, I get to, and I get to serve women and I get to make impact. So, and it's far beyond just a transactional business for me. It is about building relationships, which is why I love the Royal Oak Chamber. Great people. And even that one-on-one, building relationships. I'm looking for shelters that, would appreciate some inventory that I could just drop off and give, to women who might need lotions and, stuff to go to work with, whatever. I love just the passion of taking care of women. And through that, you change their families' lives, right? Women and children. I always say you get to impact women and children in this business.
Deborah, I love that you're getting involved with women's shelters. And if you want to connect with her with regard to Mary Kay and working with her for providing some folks that really need some help, her contact information is going to be here in our show notes today.
Not only just giving some products that they could put on their shelves and, open the door to women to say, hey, what do you need? But I also said, I'd be happy to come in and just pick a day and an hour where I could just share, what I would do in a normal skincare class. No strings attached, right? It's just to give that worthiness of feeling like, they're being cared for and they'll feel good afterwards too.
I'm so glad you mentioned the chamber because this is the Royal Oak Chamber podcast, the ROCC Pod. Talk to me about your experience after making this transition to, as you said, getting to do this full time, connecting with other small business owners through the Royal Oak Chamber and what that's been like for you from the chamber perspective, Deborah.
Once I got really up and running and said, okay, I'm doing this full time. This is my job now. And how do I motivate myself? I realized I wanted to get into a chamber of commerce, a local chamber of commerce. So I started one last year. And then I ran into, I think it was at the Diversity Expo last year, and to the wonderful Christine and some of the ladies that were there. And I thought, oh my God, let me pop in and check out some of your events. And the Royal Oak Chamber, what an awesome community and so different than the one I was in. So it really, you have to visit and you have to try, right? And I think what I love about the Royal Oak Chamber is that it really is just kind of down to earth people, more small business. It's not so much corporate suit and tie, stuff. Yeah. People running their business and just, living the community of Royal Oak. I've always loved walking around in Royal Oak. So yeah, I have had some wonderful relationships that have begun, and I've only been in the chamber 4 months now.
Okay.
Because I, attended a few things as everybody's offered, right? And to just come. And then I said, okay, yeah, I gotta be a part of this community. So it is awesome. And the events are amazing. So now I get to be at the Diversity Expo this coming year.
Excellent.
Yeah, it is such a fantastic family. I mean, everybody is so open and welcoming and they're very engaged. And you go to an event and it is packed. I wanted to touch a little bit. Everybody loves freebies and samples. So can you talk to us a little bit about what kind of free items are given away with Mary Kay and what people can get?
Awesome. I love that question, Lisa. So the model is really to indulge a woman totally free. So the first thing you can do with me is a free facial, a free pamper session, a free just sit down for an hour and experience all of the top skincare lines. We'll do color too, but we always start with that skincare, but that's totally free. And it's not an obligatory, environment. So I'm not inviting you because I'm looking at, what you might purchase at the end. I really want the products to wow the woman who's sitting there. And then when I'm out and about, just, not necessarily inviting or sitting at my studio with a woman, I always have a basket or a little, pretty goodie bag with some pretty lips on it. And I've got samples in there. So I'm always in catalogs, because I want to, Mary Kay always said the 3-foot rule, which is common in a lot of businesses, right? Anyone that is within 3 feet of me should know I'm a Mary Kay, consultant. So I always have something that if someone says, oh, Mary Kay, and then I can, pop something to them or ask them if they're interested. It's always one of those environments where sometimes women are not keen on that and other times they love it. When it's free, it's for me. That's what I like to say.
So Deborah, we've talked a lot about facials for women, but I wanted to touch base and see if you also do facials for men.
Lisa, thank you so much because, I get so caught up. I would say 95%, right, are going to be women that I'm sitting in front of, but we do have a skin care and colognes and beard oils. I mean, we've got stuff for men. And in fact, just Saturday, I had someone in, it was a female and a male. They were just friends, but I he enjoyed it just as much as she did. So yes. And what's funny is men don't really, at least women think about skincare and they think, gosh, should I be, right? And we're going to be more inclined to buy stuff. Men are like, what do I need? I shower.
I'm so glad you're talking about this because I am 43 years old and realizing that I'm now at an age where I need to start taking better care of my body. And that includes my skin. And, moisturizing, and I walk my dog twice a day. And I had a dermatologist say, you got to protect your big bald dome if you're going to walk your dog twice a day. So moisturizer with SPF and wearing a ball cap and all that stuff. Like, skincare is important. I think more men are realizing this now too, Deborah.
Yeah.
Well, I think times are changing and the younger generation coming up, they do care. And I know some men who, they primp a whole lot more than even I do.
I haven't gotten to that point where I'm primping, but I am trying to take better care of myself.
Yeah, no. And this is great for me because I think I could probably focus a little bit more on men because, and if we don't know what to do, we tend not to do anything, right? So I think, that's the best part of what I get to do is that it isn't just, when you're on your own and you're shopping, you're just going to grab whatever might look good or whoever's selling you something where we can customize. And that's the beauty of what we do. But yes, sunscreen. In fact, I had someone say to me last week, well, I just now realized, so I should be wearing sunscreen every day. And I'm like, yeah, even in Michigan, look at today. It's not the sunniest day, but yeah. So it is really important. And I want to put a plug in too for young people, and this could be teens, right? Boys or girls, getting on a good pattern or routine of taking care of their skin. So we just launched kind of a new skincare line, which is geared for that younger people. And it's just a nice cleanser and a nice scrub. It's real gentle and it gets people kind of in that young, early age in that routine. But I like to parallel it with brushing your teeth. You don't brush your teeth when you feel like it. You don't just maybe floss or whatever. You have to do the whole thing, and skincare is the same.
I have to ask you about the pink Cadillac because I know it's iconic, and I know in talking to you offline, you had said that's your next big goal. I think a lot of people want to know who aren't as familiar with how the Mary Kay operation runs. What do you have to do to get the pink Cadillac?
Great question. And I've been asking that since I started because I said, I got to go big, right? So let me share some of my current accolades. So I just became a director April 1st.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And what that means is you built up a team of so many people. And that's like 24 women who are on your team. And with that, then you have to hit a certain production, which is collaborative, right? So it isn't just, it's if you got 24 people and they're each ordering something. So you need to hit a certain number to then qualify to earn a free car. And yes, free cars are real in Mary Kay. So there's the Trax that I just qualified for on June 1st. So I now got to pick out my new Trax car. And then there's an Equinox. And yes, the final earning is an iconic pink Cadillac. And so that's higher numbers, right? It's like $7,500 in production a month from you and your team. But usually you're now at a team size of 50. So not really impossible because a lot of people say, oh, yeah, right. Oh, you're going to earn a pink Cadillac, but it's got to be hard. Well, but what job isn't, right? So I guess if you're aspiring for something big, but what's awesome about it is once you earn it, they're giving you the car literally for free. They pay 85% of your auto insurance and and they cover your drivers. So my husband and my son who do drive my car occasionally, anybody who's going to drive the car, right? And you can take cash payout if you were to say, no, I don't want that. But, that's a mobile business card.
It's a moving billboard and a testament to how successful you've been with the brand. And oh, by the way, as Michiganders, we should mention, shout out to GM for being the partner for all these GM products as well.
Yeah. In fact, there's a nice little story about the pink Cadillac. So when Mary Kay decided she wanted to give these two directors who had earned that certain level, she went shopping and she went to Cadillac first. And they were like, no, first of all, where's your husband or whatever? Again, we're back in the 60s, right? So they went into business with her.
Before women could have credit cards, by the way, right? That didn't happen until the 70s.
She just said, all right, well, she went across the street to GM. And they were like, well, what color would you like it? When she said pink, they were like, well, we don't have pink. And so they designed that beautiful, it's kind of that rose colored pink. And the rest is history.
I also like in the story before consolidation, GM said no, she went across the street to Cadillac, and now it's all the same company.
Yeah. And so that's my goal for end of year. So I'm just, working my business, and that is the next goal.
It sounds like a fantastic goal to have.
Thank you. I'm excited about it.
Now it is time for our fishbowl question of the day, where we ask a totally random question. John, you want to dig in and pull a fishbowl question?
All right. Deborah, what is your favorite city and why?
My favorite city can be out of the country, I hope.
I know you like to travel, so anywhere you want to throw out.
My favorite city was Rome, Italy. My husband and I went there for our 30th wedding anniversary, which is 6 years ago now. But it was just, I don't know. I just felt like I was walking in a dream. So yeah, Rome, Italy would be my favorite.
I know there's a lot of classic buildings there in the Colosseum and all that, but you're making me hungry when you say Rome, Italy.
Pizza.
And that's right. Any kind of food.
Well, this has been awesome to have you on today, Deborah. We're excited for you to be part of the Chamber in your new role at Mary Kay, and you can just hear the passion in your voice and how much you love this company and what you're doing to lift up other women, which is tremendous. So if our listeners want to get in touch with you, what are the best ways to find you?
I am on Facebook, Instagram, and I am happy to have anybody just calling me directly. My mobile phone is with me 24/7, so it's area code 586-215-1702. And all you have to do is, if you want to just engage, text me, I'm in, and then I'll know that it came from this podcast, and, we can chat. Because I love to learn about, what might be that right fit for you.
Yeah, and we'll link your Instagram and all that in our show notes as well.
Awesome.
So if you guys are looking for an hour of pure self-pleasure, give her a call to experience a facial. My name is Lisa Bibby, and I'm a realtor with Keller Williams Advantage, and I put the real back in realtor. We want you to love where you live. Questions about buying or selling? Call today. My website is soldbylisab.com, and you can find me on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, all at Sold by Lisa B.
And I am John Gay from Jag in Detroit Podcast. I'm the podcast guy. If you want to have a chat about podcasts, starting a podcast, improving your podcast, the podcast industry, you name it, you can find me on my website at jagindetroit.com, also on all social media at Jag in Detroit. We want to thank you for listening to this episode of the ROCC Pod, produced for the Royal Oak, Michigan Chamber of Commerce. For more information about the Chamber and Chamber events, you can head on over to royaloakchamber.com. Thanks, everyone.